literally right now, the three biggest things on Amazon Prime are Fallout, the new season, Cross, the new season, and Operation Fortune Rusticaire.
Despite this movie coming out 2 years ago.
Hey, not 3.
Our pre-production meeting started off with a bad joke and then a weird fact about platypuses. So,
and both not from the person you'd expect. I'm going to use that as the cold open for this episode about Operation Fortune Rusticaire, which came out on March 3rd, 2023 with a budget of $50 million and a box office of $48,983,306. Directed by Guy Ritchie, written by Guy Ritchie and the whole word for people who are nerds about how this writing stuff goes, Ivan Atkinson and ampersand Marn Davies, which I believe means that ampersand, the two writers worked together, and then the other person, Guy Ritchie, worked separately in the writing duties. Don't know if Guy Ritchie did it first and had them touch it up, or vice versa. And here with Brad and Milan, and we're going to get into the 420 reviews. I don't regularly say what 420 reviews are. It's our dope little way to review a movie in a poem-esque fashion. 4 words per line until we get to 20 words, 420. And we got a special treat, so we'll start with Brad.
All right. I've got Guy Ritchie comedy movie, a spy versus spy, particular set of skills, and has expensive tastes. Turn off your brain.
And then mine was, it has the swagger, the machinations, the clockwork, lovely feeling of excess, a franchise starter banger that never took off. Milan?
A tale about rivalries, our team versus theirs, dreamboat actor Trojan horse, eccentric billionaire dark choices, let's take a holiday.
And plot twist, we've got Brad with a second 420 review, 840 for you today.
We'll see if you guys can figure out what I did here. This impossibly funny mission with a certain bond, a man from U.N.C.L.E. plays a spy game. Men are born kings.
It's bad, but I'll own it. I thought what you were doing for the first line because I'm so brain rot. What was the last line?
Men are born kings. So I did the born identity. So Mission Impossible, Kingsman, so first one, Mission Impossible. Second one's Bond. Third one, A Man from U.N.C.L.E. Fourth line was a spy game. And then the fifth line was Kingsman and Bourne series. So
weird question. Was the spy game in a film with Chevy Chase at all? No, right?
No, I don't think so. I think Spy Game was...
I'm thinking of something that was more funny, like a comedy-leaning one. But while Brad's looking that up, if you want to include your 420 review in this podcast, go over to moviesadope.com. You can join for free and drop your 420 review when we ask for it in the Discord. And why don't you take that and then segue it into Bradley Cooper's trivia? All right, Bradley Cooper's much sexier than the real thing.
So Spy Game had Catherine McCormick, Robert Redford, Brad Pitt. So those are the three. But the trivia about this movie is that Josh Hartnett, who plays an actor in this movie, who doesn't do his own stunts, did his own stunts for the movie. So there's a movie within a movie. One of those movies he didn't do his stunts, and one of the movies he did the bulk of his stunts.
Wait, in the movie, his character does say he does his own stunts, right?
But then
we saw somebody else doing it. Okay.
We saw somebody else doing it.
Okay.
But then for the movie Operation Fortune or whatever, he did the bulk of his own stunts.
Gotcha. Which in that car, that's pretty freaking cool.
I mean, that would be pretty sweet. So this one's kind of for you, Brian, here. I'm going to let you kind of take a swing at this one.
Okay.
This is the 5th collaboration between Guy Ritchie and Jason Statham. Do you know what the other ones are? One
is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I would not be surprised if Snatch was in there, but I don't know for sure.
2.
There's one that was a heady one that I didn't really like, but then Wrath of Man is another one. And it feels like a French title. I don't remember what it was, but I didn't like it. He was imprisoned. It had chess. Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. Like, so if I was like this and all of a sudden just like squeeze these 2 fingers together.
Chopsticks.
Oh, no.
God.
Revolver.
Something. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was an interesting exploration for Guy Ritchie got into his post-Aladdin phase.
And then my last bit of trivia is that platypuses don't have nipples. They secrete their milk through a gland on their abdomen. So
And now all I'm thinking of is I wish Channing Tatum was a platypus. So I had an excuse to lick his abs. There we go. That was the joke and my genuine stupid response before we were all gathered. So this was Milan's first time, just like y'all.
yeah, the look on her face is disappointment.
I wonder if the look on your face when talking about it in a non-spoilery way would be similar. What'd y'all think? Ooh, that transition.
I mean, overall, I enjoyed the ride. It definitely kind of kept you, it kept you going. It kept you on your toes a little bit. I think the only thing for me, and this is just personal taste, I am not super into like fighty stuff. So there was a lot of like, ooh, that looked like it hurt from me. So, and that would like pull me out of the experience. Mm-hmm. But like that, again, that's like a minor, just like taste thing. But overall, I enjoyed it. It was I actually stayed and watched the last 10 minutes. So, I mean, that says something.
Brad?
I think this movie's a fairly generic spy versus spy type movie. I don't think it does anything overly well, but I don't think it does anything bad either. I think it's just kind of like one of those well done generic spy versus spy movies. I really did enjoy Aubrey Plaza's character. I think they let her. So part of this, and this is kind of a trivia and kind of not, but Guy Ritchie did rewrite a lot of the script, and the script wasn't really finished when they started filming this. So he allowed a lot of improv, and Aubrey Plaza really, I don't know why I almost said Audrey Hepburn, but she's not in this. She's not in this movie or any movie recently. So Aubrey Plaza really liked that, and she really kind of ran with it. So I think she did a really good job with delivering her lines that were funny but playful at the same time. In my head canon, I think she wrote a lot of those. Maybe whether she did or didn't, I don't know, but I'm going to give her credit for it anyway, because she delivered them like perfect.
I mean, no surprise here. Probably my favorite edit in the whole film is section. And yes, for the podcast, I will have cut that off right in the middle like the film did. just the pause before it and the build up and then the not even letting it finish. All right, that all sounds horrible out of context, but just, yeah, I could see it. It was interesting for me because I think I pitched this to y'all as PG-13 Guy Ritchie. And then the first time Jason Statham's on screen, he says, fuck that. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's the one. And then he said, fuck again. I was like, okay, Glass Onion had two. And then he just goes, fuck, 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 fuck. I was like, wait, this was R-rated. It feels, to your points, like a lot of stuff we've seen or could have seen in other films with just a heavy sprinkling of Guy Ritchie, not full The Gentleman or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch, but just enough to give it a little extra flavor for me. And I also really enjoyed certain approaches they had, like when Jason Statham was following the guy who ends up... they start with like really wide shots and like this slow, methodical...
Wait, are we going into spoilers?
Yeah, fuck. I'll edit out that one thing. But when he's following somebody, they have this big wide shot, and like I think it feels like orchestral music, and it's taking a different visual approach to it than I would have expected for other spy movies. But I guess I'll just piggyback off the script wasn't finished. It's like they gave Guy Ritchie a very dirty trophy, like very smudged, and like, polish this up for us. And he's like, well, shit, I can only do this half time. And it's like, oh yeah, it definitely looked better than a standard one was, but he didn't have enough time to make it fully sing, if that makes sense. Like I felt like this was a visit to the theater when I watched it. On a rewatch, I'm like, all right, it doesn't have all the magic to become some huge classic, but I liked it for doing things more uniquely than how do I end the sentence? More uniquely than it usually ends up, if that makes sense. Is that it
that's
for
fair.
non-spoilers?
That's fair. I mean, I thought the music and stuff like that was kind of like the weakest point of this, because the music a lot of times felt weird throughout this movie, but so I think that was probably its weakest point. But again, I don't think it did anything bad. I think it was just some choices that were kind of weird to me. But so we'll go ahead and rate this just to remind everybody, because we us three always remember the rating.
I don't.
But go ahead and remind everybody
where Brad lands between this is a bit that we're gonna do forever, and I hope it never ends, to what the fuck is the rating? I can't remember what I said last time. Starting at S tier and getting all the way down to F before going full off the rails. We have ayahuasca, a mushroom, edible, joint, skunky, and then off the rails, Molly, which I thought was going to be a Michael Bay film if we ever chose to, but turned out to be a begonia.
And not because it's a bad film.
The movie just goes off the rails.
It just goes off the rails. Yeah.
Okay.
and the Academy Awards love stuff like that, but as people watching movies, it's hard to recommend something that just falls off the rails.
I genuinely don't know how the Academy Awards responded to Begonia. I didn't care to pay attention, but
I know it was nominated for a bunch of stuff, unlike Operation Fortune, which I think is a joint.
Nice. Mine was edible.
I will meet y'all in the middle at a jointy edible.
Nice. I think on the third watch, I would go down and go edibly joint, but I'm satisfied where I'm at with this movie. And then that's another flourish. Our ratings are drug related because movies are too. But we could get into as the spoilers in, I guess I should count down from 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, better than 20. But I guess this wouldn't have been spoilers just to say the plot. But we basically got a secret agent with way too expensive tastes. Sounds like something. I appreciate your 420 review even more now thinking about it. With a handler who also seems to like to dip his little thumb into the fancier sides of the pie. And we're dealing with some kind of Rabbit's Foot-esque situation. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation reference. Or no, Mission Impossible 3 reference. And we need to figure out what that is while also competing with other mercenaries for hire or possible factions of the British government and the world stage. And our best way in is through an actor who we can blackmail for loving his sister-in-law too much. And since he is a bachelor, we can safely assume that it's either his brother or sister's wife that he's loving too much, as he is not spoken for officially, publicly. And he's got on the performance of a lifetime, because movie stars are the real thing society needs.
And people with way too much money are also real.
Yeah, it's interesting where we should land on the opinion of billionaires is, and you know what? Maybe if we could blackmail them enough, they could be inspirational to our actors. But what do you all think in spoilery talks? Did you like the Mike twist? What'd you think of the pickup jobs at the airport and how that goes down, how things unravel in more and more layers as you go? So,
overall, I think the story itself was pretty weak, but that's not the point, really. I don't know, maybe I'm just, films like this, I feel like most people get the most out of it from either the action or the really fun elements that may come from specific actors or whatever. For me, the thing that kept me going through the film that made it enjoyable were Aubrey's and Josh's characters. That was pretty much it for me. The beginning of the film, when they were first introduced, you're like, okay, this is going to be intriguing because of how their characters are. Yeah. The middle, I will be honest, there are parts of the middle I don't remember because I got bored, lost interest in certain areas of the billionaire's house. And then I got drawn back in by those characters. And that's of course, action picked up again. And then I was all in. And then, of course, I wanted to see how it ended or whatever. But the story itself and what they were doing wasn't enough to keep me there. I was more engaged by how well some of the characters who portray side things. So they weren't necessarily who's the main character really? Is there a main character? I guess it's not really.
Yeah, I would say it's more of a team thing. I think Guy Ritchie can be pretty good with that, of following different threads as you go and weaving in and out.
Because I could care less about JJ and Jason Statham's character. They shoot people in the face.
and I like caviar.
It is very true to Jason Statham's kind of reputation, but upping the price tag. Like most roles, I think you'd just see him sit like break off the top of a beer bottle, Fast and Furious-esque, be comfortable with that while looking like he goes to a tailor that nobody else can afford at the table. But yeah, it is the swagger that this film brings for me, and the unusual choices. Like the moment that they actually escape far enough, Aubrey and Hartnett's characters, then they go right back because now we have blackmail on him and this reason and this reason. I'm just like, God, I don't know how much of this is, obviously it's not realistic, but in terms of actual espionage and fucking around with dynamics, it's so fascinating to me how people can think on that level. I watched a YouTuber who did some video in Arc Ascended or something like that, and it was a lobby of 100 people and they all had different groups, and he had a group of 9, and he basically played fiddle with everybody and did alliances, and then he had choices I'm just gonna kill this small group and then blatantly lie about it and see if the bigger group will back me up, and if they do, I control them. I'm like, that's so fucking evil genius. If you were if you weren't just a lovely content creator, you could do some real damage. But he kept saying that his autism had him thinking about the Roman Empire or stuff. So he was kind of copying real life political moves, and that's kind of where I enjoy it in here, because I think I'm at most in the head of Josh Hartnett, where I'm like, no, we just fucking stole stuff. They tried to shoot us. We have to keep running. Fuck. Wait, we could go back. Okay. All right. I'm going back because you got blackmail on me. Holy shit, this is working. And the later flourishes of, I think this was Hugh Grant's first time working with Guy Ritchie, and he definitely returned, at least for The Gentleman, as far as I know. But his speech of 3, 2, 1. Okay, we've got the timing off on that. Let's try that again. 3, 2, 1. And the action is not what I came for, although I'm appreciative of where it is and when they do it well. But yeah, I like those flourishy moments. And the part that I bleeped earlier, if I keep it in, was when the that one guy accidentally yeets himself off the observation deck. He had a good idea, I guess, in terms of an evil gotcha moment of putting his lawyer phone in the other guy's body and then pushing him off before he joined him. But also, I don't know how basic this is, but I very much enjoyed later when Jason Statham gave the newer gentleman, at least for his group, the wine. And he's like, no, there's wine, and then there's wine or something like that. He just goes, woo, woo. I'm a simple man. And also, anybody who's watched Psych long enough knows how damn smooth Cary Elwes can be outside of The Princess Bride. Still smooth there, but when he's playing a man of mystery, fuck me, I'm just like.
I did like the first action sequence where they're starting to gel as a team a little bit through the airport. The back and forth between Jason Statham and Aubrey Plaza, I thought was funny because he was like, well, what was his name? Dave? What was his last partner's name? That was the tech person.
Oh, probably.
Mike,
I like
Dave or somebody. Yeah, I like Dave.
For Mike.
Yeah, I like Dave. He would shut the fuck up.
He also got them all killed at the end because he was the guy we don't need him anymore.
But I thought that sequence was pretty funny with those two back and forth, but then also for them to get kind of they lose the upper hand a little bit on their mission when they realized that Mike and his team were on there, and they were able to kind of distort the picture feed, knock out two of the agents from fulfilling their parts of the mission. And then they had oh, we gotta take a step back to figure this out, and then eventually end up kidnapping the guy at the car, and all he wanted to do was save his wife, and he had a heart attack instead.
Yeah. And what is it, electrocuting that guy's nuts a couple times.
Yep.
I did like that because usually it's just
take a deep breath. There we go.
But I like how that might be the best sequence in terms of the whole film for me, of how it just wraps in layers and layers and more twists and turns. Because normally you'd have at most the airplane sequence and then maybe a high speed car chase, but instead they just went it all culminating on the highway with some big ass like rock bands bus blocking them just so they can take out a power tool and literally not chainsaw, but what?
Like cut the door off and everything after cloning the drive and putting a key on it. So they had the key, but they had to give up the drive and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's just, I love that. And all the very quick twists, like knocking out the guy who later got a little too greedy for the watch and the money on the boat. Yeah.
I mean, I thought overall it was pretty solid. I mean, it kind of, it's an easy film to recommend to somebody like, hey, let's just turn on something. But I think overall on the spy action comedies, I'm sure there's got to be other better ones that do everything just a little bit better. But like I said, I really like Aubrey Plaza on this one. I thought she was really funny. All the characters felt believable and felt like connected. So, I mean, overall, not bad. I like the twists and turns at the end with the double cross ish. So overall, I mean, this is an easy movie to recommend to somebody, or like you can't figure out what you want to watch. This would be an easy movie to just like slap on the TV and be like, all right, let's sit down with this. And it's only an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. So it's not a terribly long movie. It's not a huge investment. Yeah, overall, not terrible.
Yeah, also super crazy timing because literally right now, the 3 biggest things on Amazon Prime are Fallout, the new season, Cross, the new season, and Operation Fortune Rest Guerre.
Despite this movie coming out 2 years ago.
Hey, not 3. Well, wait, when was that? Yeah,
2023. So yeah, and the filming wrapped up or started in January of 2021. So it was kind of put on hold with COVID and everything like that. And they, in some of the trailers and stuff like that, not trailers, but some of the media buildup and stuff like that, and they had mentioned that this movie was kind of infectious, and they were like, "Oh, probably shouldn't use that word right now." So he had to like back up. He's like, "I don't mean infectious like that. I mean, if you were to get infected with something, this is a great movie to get infected by."
Honestly, some movies you can really see where the COVID like fucked things up, or like the new shooting regulations and everything. Never would have guessed it, that it was that early into the pandemic.
Yeah, I think the only thing that really got messed up was probably the script, which is why, because I think it was written by the other 2 guys, and then Guy Ritchie got the script, rewrote a bunch of it, and then because I think Jason Statham said that Guy Ritchie told him, don't even read the script, it's not finished yet, but Jason Statham signed up onto it anyway, because he trusted Guy. Obviously, with doing 4 other movies and doing a 5th one, I'm sure is easy blind trust for him. And they were given the okay to ad-lib and stuff like that. So I think that was probably the biggest blunder. I think the script could have been cleaner. I thought the action sequence and the folds in it were good. But overall, I think it's just one of those things where you just have to kind of turn off your brain and just enjoy it. That if you think too hard about the plot, it's just going to fall apart.
And I gotta say, the billionaire character, it creeped me out how I can now imagine people just operating like that. Just so brazenly. Just like... he knew Aubrey Plaza's character for like 5 minutes before he was making the most forward suggestions. And I think thinking back to Wake Up Dead Man, just the fact that if they had been in a relationship and she felt uncomfortable sharing that with her partner who's so starstruck, that causes some complicity of like, I know you won't tell on me because I'm very powerful and your boyfriend loves me. That would cause a fight. And it's just, I fucking hate that. That's probably how common that probably is. Even if it's not just billionaires. It's definitely not just billionaires. For a first collaboration between Hugh Grant and Guy Ritchie, I wouldn't have guessed. I would have thought they'd work together a lot more. I think that also the billionaire tech bros could have made a bigger impression, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, Hugh Grant was a much better villain than they were, and that was a little disappointing, I think, too, in the end. Like, you can't have like the bigger, it was almost Joker-esque, if that makes sense. Like, the bigger villain was thwarting the minor villain who kind of pissed him off. But that was also a little disappointing.
But then you know why no one, even Gaddafi, would fuck with his payment. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you improve them without ruining his. Because if they just adopt a bunch of his characteristics, then it feels the same. But then do you go whinier? Do you go weirder and more like they're big babies who are just spoiled by the money they've made and their echo chambers of yes men? I did also appreciate on the second watch probably both watches where they're like, oh, now he loves Orphans of War. Makes sense. He's created enough of them. It's like, holy fuck, that feels real for as heightened as this can be. Because of course, they're not going to actually be talking in front of staff on the boat about how he's playing a part, which I think they did before getting off the boat. For as heightened as this is, there's some parts that just feel very true. Or the fact that, the Hugh Grant's character doesn't end up dead or in jail at the end of it. He's just still enjoying life on some fucking movie set, being idolized as always.
This is actually Hugh Grant's second Guy Ritchie film.
Really? Because I was saying that out of like his interviews. What was his first?
The Gentleman.
That is a 2019. Yeah. Fuck. All right. Well,
because I thought I saw that in my trivia, so that's why I had to go back and look, because I thought it was more interesting that Jason Statham had 5 movies with Guy Ritchie, and I thought I saw something with them with Hugh Grant. So
yeah. Well, I wish I kind of put this in the non-spoiler section because it's going to baffle some people. I do need to rewatch The Gentleman eventually, but
good movie, very good movie.
That is definitely a much more Guy Ritchie film, like much purer. But at least on first watches, I enjoyed this one more. Now, I don't think this movie lives up on rewatches too many times, and I'm sure The Gentleman has more gas in its engine. Do also need to see the TV show. But yeah, I enjoyed this more on the first one.
I think this movie's easier to watch. I think The Gentleman is more sophisticated, you get more paying attention, less comedy, more action, and more drama in a sense than this movie. Like, The Gentleman still has comedy and stuff in it, but I think this movie is more comedy focused than The Gentleman is. So I think for me, I think this movie would be easier to recommend to somebody and be like, hey, if you like that movie, try The Gentleman.
I remembered what was the only thing that really put me off from The Gentleman. They had like 4 different characters when they had the opportunity to just soapbox. Like, one was Charlie.
What's Human?
Human, yeah. Yes. He is a human.
He's Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy.
And he's in Pacific Rim.
Pacific
Charlie
Hunnam. There you go.
Yeah. One time he has a gun on some like drugged out people, and all the different characters all do their own, like the opposite of an okay boomer, like an okay millennial, just be like, what's wrong with this new generation? And I was just like, I think that distracted me out of first watch. I was like, Guy, why are you so obsessed with telling the next generation why they're so lazy? Because it wasn't one character's thing that they kept saying. It showed up in like 4 different people's monologues. So yeah, I definitely should watch that again. That has Matthew McConaughey just doing a great fucking job. And yeah, I'm sure Hugh Grant.
Colin Farrell with his Irish accent.
Oh shit.
He's like a boxing coach or whatever.
I forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
The Penguin himself. I mean, the fact that there are never going to be any sequels, is it a big loss? Could it have possibly been better if they had, more time to do it? Or was it just like, all right, this was cute, no biggie either way?
Yeah, for me, I don't think it's a big loss either way. I think it's a good one-off. It doesn't need a series. There's a lot of movies out there that have series or have more movies built on it that don't need it. It's not necessary. So I think this is a movie that's just not necessary for a sequel. It's good as a one-off and just let it ride. And if you wanted to do spiritual successors later on down the line of like movies that are similar to this, or even if you want to use one of the characters in the future, you could, but it doesn't need a sequel. It doesn't need a series.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think that if y'all were to come back and tell me there's a sequel for this film that I would get excited over it necessarily. Unless Hugh Grant's role was reprised and he was actually the villain, then I might be slightly interested in seeing how they thwart him. Because I think there's a lot of opportunity in his character. But again, I agree. I don't think it's really a loss one way or the other.
Fair. I think it could have done with a couple more like watch it once and probably never again type of little adventures. I don't exactly know where they go from here, but that's kind of the fun for me of just like, yeah, make it overly complicated, make it more than I'm used to seeing, be funny, be English.
There should be a whole spin-off with just Hugh Grant and Josh Hartnett's character where we find out what they're up to now in their training. I'd watch that.
I mean, hey, if y'all do go watch the credits, I will be curious to see what you say seeing their little thing, because you get a bit of that. Like they're definitely having a little bit of a bromance or of a I will love you forever. Stop. Okay, keep going. Stop. Like that kind of thing. And just both of them respectfully and lovingly filleting each other. Of just like, I love you more. No, I love you more. Okay, I'm I'm pretty great. And if anybody, well, no one's going to be around for any last seconds if they're avoiding spoilers. If anyone hasn't, you might really love Josh Hartnett in Fight or Flight. It is Die Hard on a plane, but with a bunch of Kill Bill villains, and it's a good time. I don't know that makes sense for the time of a flight, but you know, you'll enjoy yourself. But yeah, it is. I will say that's a better film than this. But on that note, do you think this film is better than Begonia or not? That's going to be a tricky one, because good luck.
I'll let someone else answer. I feel like my answer is not even necessary.
Go ahead and cue it up, because I'm going to follow right behind you.
All right, I'll start on a filmmaking level. No. Can't say. Like, I think Begonia has a lot more craft, just not by some huge bit, but definitely more intentional and more polished and honed in terms of that and the music. I think this did have some fun flourishes, and it is definitely going for obviously something very different in terms of the playfulness and the machinations. But I gotta edge it towards Begonia. Is it an all the time watch? Fuck no. Even though I found a lot of satisfaction for myself. And would I choose this one as a like watch with Richard, which I did, over Begonia, or any casual, like let's just chill and hang and have an excuse to watch something? Yeah, I'd definitely go with Operation Fortune Rest of Guerre. I do have to shout out the amazing beginning. I love the music with the footsteps and all that goodness and flair. But yeah, for what it wants to be, I'm gonna say Begonia is better than this one, because, and I forgot to say it earlier, to your point, I think this does have flourishes more than your standard, but needed more to be fully special.
So for me, it's really hard to compare the two films regardless, because like you said, their goals are completely different. Begonia, of course, is something that gets you thinking about something, which I think is obviously important. And it serves that purpose if that was its primary goal. It does get you thinking and talking about something within social commentary or whatever. But when it comes to just like enjoying the experience of watching said film, I'm going to have to give it to Operation Fortune, because I can at least say like, okay, I wanted to stay in my seat and at least somewhat get to the end of this. I can't say that about Begonia necessarily. And if anything, when I got to the end, I was probably a little bit pissed off. So I'm going to have to give it to Operation Fortune.
All right, Brad.
Ooh. I get to be the deciding vote this week. Ooh, what am I going to say?
Between 6 or 7?
6 or 7? I don't know. For me, it's hard to recommend the movie Begonia to anybody. Like I said in the beginning, it takes a special or I guess last week, takes a special person to like be able to suggest that movie to. This movie is just way easier to watch. I think it'll be more enjoyable to a larger variety of audience than it would be for Begonia. I think Begonia is probably more geared for awards and stuff like that, but I think this movie is better. It's easier to watch. It's better to recommend to people. There's a chance that I rewatch this in the future. Begonia, probably not. I'll let it win its awards or get nominated for its awards and be happy for it. But I probably will not watch that movie again. The first time I came out of watching that movie, I was pretty much like, what the fuck? I don't know what's happened. I understood what they were trying to tell me, but at the same time, I was just like, how did we get here? And which is why Milan and I both gave it some Molly. Because it did just kind of fall off the rails. So I'm going to go with the better movie being Operation Fortune.
Nice. Crazy. I didn't think of it till now. They both kind of had similar budgets and similar box office, which I honestly just wouldn't have expected.
Especially considering it's an Amazon movie.
Oh, is it fully?
I mean, I thought it was.
Nice.
I mean, it might not be. Don't take my word for it, but
I don't know how to tell if it's an Amazon original. I do know that it's on Prime, of course. But yeah, cool.
No, it looks like it's a Lionsgate Miramax film.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I mean, so many of these studios actually make stuff for streaming. Like Apple didn't own Severance until like a week ago. This may be a joint, maybe a jointy edible, or it may be an edible, but no matter what, it is dope because
movies
are
dope.
I almost started doing like a conductor, and I was like, that feels disrespectful. Let me just park them on my head. And
bye-bye now.
Ooh, I'm just so good at the memories. The memorizings. Any ideas for what you want to do for next time?
I do not, but I am going to make sure that we are all aware that Project Hail Mary comes out on the 17th of March.
Ooh.
Just saying.
Want to go see that and do it for this?
That movie I do. It doesn't have to be right away, but I definitely want to do that movie.
Well, I'm actually caught up on all these edits, so let's do it as close to the opening as possible.
Okay, that's fine.
Don't watch the trailers. So if you haven't read the book, don't watch the trailers. If you've read the book, you can watch the trailers because they kind of spoil something in it. I was just like,
that's
old man shaking his fist at a cloud.
I will avoid all trailers then. I got it.
All right, then before we all jump off, I do want to point out that I just realized this actor that I really enjoyed, his last name is Cancel Me.
Okay.
Sorry, it's Cancel Me or something. But just very wild to me. Anyway, all right. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
I'm living in a movie, there's a scene you gotta jump. I got my people at the viewing who all knew me selling tickets. Yeah, they talking about the beauty. I see Scorsese outside saying this isn't cinema. Free man, I ain't doing shit tomorrow, I don't need plans. I'll be kicking it till April off for $3 grand. I don't even need the money, I just need fans. I just need fans.